Hi, and welcome to Foxys Den. Well, what have we got here? Yeah, we've got ourselves another amplifier for you to have a look at. Just move that out the way there so you can get a better look. Right, anyone like to take a guess as to what this is? No? Yeah? Well, in fact, this actually, I'm a little bit embarrassed about this really, but this is actually the very first hi-fi amplifier I made. I made this when I was just 17 years old, which wasn't all that long ago. And as I said, this was my first attempt at building such a thing. As I say, I was just starting out with things, and yeah, well, as I say, we'll let you have a little better look from. As you can see, there's the top with the grill. Yeah, as I said, this does look rather grubby and dirty now, because as I said, this used to be on a shelf in my other workshop before I came up here. And as I say, I took it out of service in about 2010. I think that was the last time I used it. It was it's been used since the mid 80s as my as part of my workshop radio, and as I say, it's been used for that purpose. So prior to that, it was in my hi-fi system with a Garrard 401 and SME arm, and a Shure M95 cartridge, and a pair of Wharfdale speakers, which I also built as well, and I've still got those as well. As I have also got the turntable as well still. But I think yes, I think probably it's time now to actually take the lid off this, because this is the bit you really want to see, isn't it? You really want to see the mess that's in here. The mess that's in here, should I say. Well, there we go. That's the underside of the metal lid. Right, we'll just tip that out so you can see. There you go. As I say, doesn't that look crusty? It is rather, yeah, it is rather dusty and what have you in there. I was surprised that it's not as dusty as I was expecting, but yeah, there's still quite a bit of dust and a bit of muck in there. Now, my apologies for the very poor and untidy wiring that I've done in there, particularly the speaker wires. As I said, they're a little bit crusty. And some of you may have noticed that I've actually used plastic nuts and bolts for mounting the power transistors. Now, I've absolutely no idea why I went that route, but I suppose it's probably the only. It may be just because those were the only ones that I had at the time, so that's probably why I've used them. As I say, it probably does want recapping at some point. You can probably tell by looking at the power supply capacitors there. As I said, they are starting to have a few little bulges here and there, so it's very likely that these will go pop if I power this thing up, which I'm not going to do at the moment. But there we go. As I said, that's the insides. Right, we'll just have a little quick look at the rear panel. Yeah, that's a bit crusty as well. It's a bit untidy, and yeah, as I said, those are a bit out of line as well. But they were sort of an afterthought, because originally everything I had was all DIN plugs, and I did put a set of phonos on just for the record input, and the rest of the time I was just using the DIN plugs, because all my equipment had DIN plugs. And yeah, so as I say, when I added a cassette deck later on, I decided to fit a set of these phono sockets on there as well. I've absolutely no idea why I've got that one drilled there like that. I'm not really sure what that was for, but It's not very well drilled. It's a bit of a mess. I'm not very proud of that, because normally I normally make a nice, neat, tidy job of drilling things and making front panels and what have you. But I did actually make all of this. I bought various pieces of aluminium sheet, and I drilled and tapped it in places, and sort of ran out of money when it came towards the putting a front panel on there. I really wanted something about at least 1/8 of an inch thick, but I didn't really fancy drilling and filing out the holes for these push buttons on the front here. But there we go. As I say, that is my hi-fi amplifier, which I've had since I was 17. Well, thanks for looking, and more to come at another time. So don't forget to leave a few comments, constructive ones. Anyway, thanks for looking, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed that, and bye daisies.